In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you all. Welcome to our new series on the topic of atheism. Dear viewers, we are starting out a new series of discussions. The title of this series is Islam and Atheism. The discussion on atheism has become the most important and serious intellectual need of today's time. Atheism propounds a comprehensive intellectual narrative about the human being, the universe, nature, and God. There is a felt need that this intellectual narrative should be brought under scholarly discussion. Our attempt in this series is to understand the journey on the basis of which Ghamidi Sahab believes in God, the faith toward which he invites us, and what its intellectual arguments are. In the second part of the series, we will discuss the arguments for atheism and seek to understand from Ghamidi Sahab the conclusions of his lifetime of study. How does he view these objections? Let us begin. As usual, we have Ghamidi Sahab with us. Ghamidi Sahab, we are about to start a new series of scholarly discussions. I wish to know that at this stage of life and after a long intellectual journey, we are about to start a big series at the end. Before starting this series, I would like you to explain your method to people. Please tell us in what order you would like to cover this topic. What are the purposes and objectives? And how will this discussion proceed?
This is no longer hidden from anyone that I am a student of knowledge. I have always seen myself in this capacity. I have introduced myself in this capacity, whether it is a discussion of religion or another aspect of knowledge. For me, it is first an issue of my personal understanding. On what basis have I accepted and adopted an opinion? And on what basis have I rejected and abandoned an opinion? This has also been my method in explaining religion. Hence, I have never had an interest in arguments, debates, and other forms of polemical conversations. Nor am I interested in forcing others to accept my viewpoint. Whenever I talk about a topic, my intention is only to narrate my own intellectual journey.
Right.
If anyone finds anything beneficial in it, he should thank God for it. If I have made a mistake, it will be revealed through the process of analysis and critique. In that too, my interest is basically that when I meet my Lord, I should be satisfied that I have not knowingly rejected any truth. And if I have accepted something, then I have strived to do justice to that. I will undertake this discussion with the same mindset. Our topic is Islam and atheism. We have to present both cases honestly. When a case is presented, then both of the following things should be considered. Whatever is ascribed to someone, it should be ascribed after thorough research, and their reasoning should be presented. What is the intention of presenting the reasoning of something? It is to distinguish between right and wrong. That is, we should be able to know what is right and what is wrong in the matter under discussion. The decision about the truth and the falsehood must be based on reasoning. Hence, the first requirement is to determine the correct basis of reasoning. That is, when we start a discussion or begin analyzing and unpacking the layers of a topic, our audience should also be aware of the basis of our reasoning.
Right.
A discussion undertaken without determining the correct basis of reasoning is never fruitful. Hence, we should examine what people generally use as the basis for arguments. We have seen in history, especially in the academic history of the world, that depending on one's nature and disposition, one can base one's reasoning on delusions and superstitions. Hence, we know that people have invented mythologies, shaped civilizations and cultures, and formed many ideas and philosophies on their basis. If we go deep enough to find the basis of their reasoning, we find it is superstition and mythology. In the same way, if we study the history of polytheistic superstitions in pre-Islamic Arabia, the subcontinent, or the Far East, it will become clear that often these are the basis of their arguments. These delusions and superstitions are the product of man's imagination. And in the first stage, they emerge as delusions and superstitions. However, gradually, people forget where it all started from. Hence, people start narrating them as real incidents, stories, tales, and, as I said, superstition-based mythologies are all based on this reasoning and catch the attention of many people too. After that, if you deliberate, rational possibilities become the basis of reasoning. The most obvious example of this has come up in the present age. If you deliberate upon it, what is the theory of evolution in biology? That is, it is one possibility among rational possibilities. That possibility can be very strong. It may even have a high probability of being correct. However, it is still only a rational possibility. The Big Bang theory also falls in this category. The same is true of some of the theories frequently referred to in the present age. For example, the problems in this world, especially in the natural sciences, can be solved using the concept of multiple worlds, or in the context of the special theory of relativity, or the debate of whether we are living in a block universe. All these are rational possibilities. Hence, they too become the basis of reasoning. People present them and hold discussions based on them. Similarly, we have many conversations based on the premises already accepted by our addressees. For example, while talking to a Muslim, it would be an accepted premise that the Quran and the Sunnah are the sources for this person. Hence, I will say that if you are a Muslim, then so-and-so is written in the Quran, such and such is promulgated by the Sunnah, or in a narrative, the matter has been stated in such and such way. So, what are we doing here? We are actually arguing on the basis of the addressee's accepted premises. We have seen in history that the human intellect can make abstractions a basis of reasoning too. You can see it in the case of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Later on, in the case of Hegel, the way he has codified logic. So, you will see that if you want to know about something, you would consider it from such abstract concepts that its existence is either necessary, impossible, or possible. If you deliberate, you will find a kind of abstraction in all three possibilities. That is, beyond the things that we encounter and observe. How pure reason looks at things in abstract ways. That has been made the basis of reasoning. The case of existence and non-existence is also of a similar nature. Absolute non-existence is also a thing. That is, it is not merely a semantic distinction. On this, Hegel has laid the foundation of his entire logic. So this is the method of reasoning in an abstract way. I have pointed out a few of those methods that have been and will always be adopted in knowledge. Among them, there is also a method in which the established premises of knowledge and intellect are made the basis of reasoning. The established premises of knowledge and intellect. There are three concepts involved here: knowledge, intellect, and established premises. Established premises imply something that is accepted as a reality by everyone. It is something that a person of sound intellect can never deny. You and I both have to accept such things. So, for such things we say that it is one of the established realities. No one can deny them. The established premises of knowledge and intellect. The things I mentioned earlier can be accepted as realities at a particular place. But like we said, the established premises of the addressees, there are some established premises of knowledge and intellect at a universal level. The Quran at every place has adopted them as the basis of its reasoning, or in some places where it has based its reasoning on the established premises of the addressees, it has done so only where it, too, holds those premises to be correct. The established premises of knowledge and intellect. Now that we have determined the meaning of established premises, we need to determine what knowledge and intellect are. When we say knowledge, what does it imply? What are the sources of knowledge? How do we determine its limits? In my book titled Meezan, I have added a new preface. There, I have discussed these topics. If the basis of our reasoning are the established premises of knowledge and intellect, then before anything else, the limits of knowledge and intellect should be known. The title of this section is The Basis of Knowledge. I will read out and explain it to you. That will clarify the foundation of this issue. The basis of reasoning will be determined. After having scrutinized that, we can delve into the actual topic, the basis of knowledge. This is the title of this preface. As I said, I have added it to my book Meezan. I have written, For a human being, the subjects of his knowledge can only be two things. Regarding knowledge, we know that when we can present something on the basis of reasoned argumentation, when we can justify and advocate for it, then we are entitled to use the word knowledge for it. Hence, in general, in epistemology, the definition of knowledge is a justified true belief. That is, if I believe in something, that belief can be based on illusion. But if it is correct and I can present arguments for its validity, I can advocate and justify it, I have referred to this as knowledge, so I have written in my book, for a human being, the object of his knowledge can only be two things. One is self and the other is matter. If we view ourselves, there is no doubt that our physical body is made of matter.
We know it.
Similarly, the world around us, the cosmos, its great celestial bodies, we have some conceptions about time and space. From it, the universe comes into existence. If there is a fundamental material in the formation of this universe, it can only be called matter. This is an expression that we have adopted. Matter and self. There is a being within our material form that I can feel right now. If you look within, then you too will immediately feel it. There is a personality that speaks. I perceive that personality. That is, I can even access its sensations within me. I feel its sorrows, its pains, and its suffering. So, there is a personality within me. That is what I refer to with the word self. For a human being, the topic of his knowledge can only be two things. One is self, and the other is matter. Then you may deliberate on their manifestations. That is, matter manifests in some forms. Forms like chairs, tables, the moon, the sun, and numerous creatures. Analyzing all those objects, what is the origin of their existence? It is ultimately matter that has taken all these shapes. I have written then, if you deliberate on their manifestations. And these are all the manifestations of matter which we see in different forms. Then, if you deliberate on their manifestations, they too take two forms. One is thing, and second, its potentials. That is, what are we faced with in the world? This is a man, that is a chair, this is a table. That is the moon, that is the sun, those are the stars. Here we are enlisting objects, these are things. Since matter is not in one form only, it has adopted numerous forms. When it has adopted all these forms, each form becomes distinct from the other. When it becomes distinct, then this thing, that thing, in other words, it transforms into objects. Now, the manifestations of matter have adopted the form of objects. So in all these manifestations, a common denominator is thing, and that is how we name it. So let us understand the complete statement once again. For a human being, the subject of his knowledge can only be two things. That is, when he selects a subject to study, he would first determine what he can study. There is matter outside him or in outer space, and there is self within him. Hence, the subject of his study can either be self or matter. If you observe the various sciences in the world, they all can be divided in these two categories. That is, we study physics, biology, and psychology as forms of science. If you deliberate in all these sciences, the subject being studied is either matter or self. Then the self also manifests in its collective capacities. New sciences are formed there: political science, sociology, economics. There is no science in the world that lies outside this sphere. These two are the only subjects. Either it would be self or matter. I have said that self and matter both manifest in diverse forms. Contrary to what Plato thinks, self is not found in its full manifestation anywhere. I can only observe it as different individuals. That is the only way I observe it. In other words, self can only be studied in its various manifestations. The same is true of matter. That too is divided into various forms. It is not possible to present it in its separate raw form. The various forms, however, can be ordinary, everyday experiences, or they can emerge from research, and new instruments may also help us access them. For a human being, the topic of his knowledge can only be two things. One is self, and the other matter. Then, if you deliberate on their manifestations, the forms in which we see matter are its manifestations. Then, if you deliberate on their manifestations, they too take two forms. One is thing. As I said, these are things. It is in the form of a table, a chair, in the form of one or another human being, or different animals, or celestial bodies. These are all things. The second is the manifestation of its potential. When potential manifests in a thing, take soil. It is a form of matter. A seed is planted in it and its potential begins to manifest. That is, a movement is born. When that movement occurs, new things begin to emerge. At times it becomes a means of bringing new things into existence, and at other times it takes the form of a movement that is incomprehensible to us. However, what is it? It can be expressed as the manifestation of potential. It means that there was a potential within it. Something embedded in it began to manifest.
As the sun gives heat,
Like anything, when it begins to act, either it is in the process of coming into existence or it expresses some of its features. That, in other words, is the manifestation of potential. Then, if you deliberate on their manifestations, they too take two forms. One is the thing, and the second is the manifestation of its potential. Nouns and verbs in all languages of the world state precisely this reality, and, for the same reason, are the foundation of the rules of those languages. When we study languages, what are languages? They are actually the expression of our knowledge. We give words to whatever we observe. Obviously, we need to express it. So, I have shown this correspondence that as the languages signify, there are only two things, self and matter. If you look at their manifestations, they too are in only two forms, thing and the manifestation of its potential. Now, when we will acquire their knowledge, obviously we will express it in words. So, all the languages of the world express precisely this fact. When we look at the languages themselves, which express it, there are two fundamental elements in their composition or formulation, nouns and verbs. If you take a classical book of the rules of the Arabic language, for example, take Al-Mufassal of Zamakhshari, it has three parts, noun, verb, and particle. At the end, a chapter examines their commonalities. These, however, are the fundamental parts. It is clear that the particle is relational word.
it has no meaning on its own.
So basically, what is left are nouns and verbs. The same is the case in all the languages of the world. They narrate the same reality. That is, it is the manifestation of that same reality in the structure of our languages.
You mean the noun is the manifestation of things?
And the verb is the manifestation of their potentials. Nouns and verbs in all languages of the world state precisely this reality. That is, when we wish to express a thing as a thing, we use nouns. And when we wish to express the manifestation of their potential, we use verbs.
That is, an action in the past or the present, then we use verbs.
Whatever the time of the action, whatever its form, we will express it in verbs. Whatever its form, we will express it in verbs. So, whatever may be the words for it, in all the languages of the world, they will be expressed in verbs or something similar. Nouns and verbs in all languages of the world state precisely this reality, and for the same reason are the foundation of the rules of those languages. So, we either study a thing or the manifestation of the thing's potential. The thing is studied from the perspective of its makeup, while the manifestation of its potential is studied from the perspective of its activity or operation. To understand these, once again, there are only two basic categories, self and matter. We are exposed to them in two forms, thing and manifestation of potential. When we express this knowledge, we create languages that are powerful means of communication and knowledge transmission. And the two pillars on which the structure of these languages basically stands are nouns and verbs. To understand these, the faculty humans are given is called reasoning or intellect. In this way, I have clarified at the outset what we mean by knowledge, what is it about, and the faculty within us, which translates information into knowledge. Obviously, that information is available to animals too. It is available to goats and sheep too. What translates that information into knowledge within us is the intellect. We are given this faculty, just as we are given eyes to see. In the same way, we are given intellect to translate our observations into knowledge. To understand these, the faculty humans are given is called reasoning or intellect. This is the real honor that distinguishes humans from other creatures, the distinguishing honor of human beings. That is, what is the greatest quality of the human being? It is that he has reason. He is given by his Lord, his Creator, or even if he originated from the earth, he came into being with the faculty of reasoning. To understand these, the faculty humans are given is called reason or intellect. This is the real honor that distinguishes humans from other creatures, the means available to it through which it can observe both self and matter. The faculty is intellect. That intellect has to gain access to some objects. What is the subject? Self and matter. So how will the intellect gain access to self and matter? That is the intellect, which is present within me as a faculty, needs to develop a relationship with self and matter. If it does not develop a relationship with them, if it does not have access to them, knowledge cannot even begin to take shape. The means available to it through which it can observe both self and matter are called senses.
Okay, senses.
That is, my eyes see, my ears hear, my hands touch, the means available to it, that is, to the intellect through which it can perceive both self and matter. Self and matter, which are actually the two subjects of knowledge, are called senses. For the intellect, they hold the position of the doors of knowledge. That is, if knowledge is a city, then its doors are these senses.
Without the tools, obviously, there can be no progress.
Without using these means, it cannot enter that city. These senses are both external and internal.
Okay, so there's a further division of senses too.
As for the external senses, we all see, we can enlist the five senses.
To smell, eat, see, and hear.
So these are the external senses. Internal senses are those that feel my sorrow, my pain. They see and know the thoughts arising in me. They perceive my changing conditions. So, we have senses there too. These doors of knowledge are present there too. These senses are both external and internal. The external senses relate the human intellect with matter, and the internal senses relate it to the self. That is, the Lord who created us. He has made these senses the doors of knowledge for me, or for someone who does not believe in God. The nature that created us has given these senses the status of the doors of knowledge, my external senses and my internal senses. Let me reiterate, for the intellect, they hold the position of the doors of knowledge. These senses are both external and internal. The external senses relate the human intellect with matter, and the internal senses relate it to the self. From this, the facts that become known to a human being. Obviously, if these senses are the doors of knowledge, intellect will enter the city of knowledge through them. When the intellect enters this city through them, the city in which there are only two things, self and matter. When it goes there, the facts that become known to human knowledge through these senses require no additional evidence to be acceptable. In other words, the appearance of the sun itself is the evidence of the sun's existence. That is why they are known as existential realities. That is, this is a table, I perceive it. I do not require any argument to prove it. This is an existential reality for me. My intellect creates a direct connection with them. All the things that are in the form of the manifestations of matter or are in the form of my internal manifestations, when my external or internal senses relate to them, some facts become known to me. All those facts are not in need of any argument. The facts that become known to human knowledge through this process require no additional evidence to be acceptable. In other words, the appearance of the sun itself is the evidence of the sun's existence. That is why they are known as existential realities. The starting point of human knowledge is the perception of these facts.
Okay.
That is, the starting point of knowledge will inevitably be this place. This, in other words, belongs to the category of universally established premises. This is a common reality for you and me, for someone from the Far East, and for someone living in America. If I have to show this table, it will be accepted that this is a thing, and this thing should be given such and such name. That name may be different in every language. However, it will be the name of that thing, and between my Aresi and me, no argument is required for it. He will understand it merely by seeing it. I will understand it only by seeing it. So, I have explained this point in the words, the appearance of the sun itself is the evidence of the sun's existence. This is an explanation of existential realities. This is the starting point of knowledge. Humanity accepts these existential realities. Everyone accepts them. These are among the established premises of knowledge and intellect. Without accepting them as the basis of argument, no knowledge can be initiated. If someone denies them, and on some occasions people have done it, then it is clearly a stubborn denial of the truth. The moment that person denies, his own actions contradict him. So, when I had said that the basis of our argumentation will be the established premises of knowledge and intellect, then this is the first thing that has been elaborated. Accepting the existential realities as facts is where knowledge itself begins.
The point is adequately clarified, Ghamidi Sahab. The discussion on atheism continues. The discussion has started with the sources of human knowledge from which he obtains the facts. Ghamidi Sahab's presentation continues. We will ask Ghamidi Sahab the questions that have arisen during the presentation so far. We will try to fully understand his point of view. We are running out of time. We will be back again. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.